Have you ever found yourself awake in the middle of the night, maybe at 3 or 4 in the morning, just lying there staring into the dark? Most of us see it as a nuisance. We think, great, now I won't get enough sleep. Tomorrow will be ruined. But what if that moment wasn't an accident? What if it was a hidden opportunity, a quiet invitation from the universe? Between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., the world enters a rare kind of silence. The streets are still, phones aren't buzzing, even nature seems to pause. It's a silence so deep that you can almost feel time itself slowing down. According to Stoic philosophy, this window of time isn't here to make us anxious. It's actually a gift, a doorway, a chance to step outside of the noise of everyday life and reconnect with who we truly are. Think about it. How often during the day do you really hear your own thoughts? From the moment we wake up, we're bombarded. Emails, notifications, traffic, conversations, deadlines. It's no wonder we feel exhausted even when we've slept 8 hours. But in those early hours before dawn, something extraordinary happens. You get a moment that belongs only to you. No interruptions, no expectations, just silence and presence. Now you might ask, but isn't waking up at this time just a sign of stress or poor sleep? Sometimes, yes, but the Stoics believe that life constantly offers us signals, moments where the universe nudges us to slow down and listen. Waking up at this hour doesn't have to be a problem. Instead, it can be an invitation, an opportunity to breathe, to reflect, to strengthen your mind and body before the day even begins. I want you to imagine this. You open your eyes at 3:30 a.m. The house is quiet. There's no noise from the outside world, no one asking you for anything, just you and that deep silence. You could choose to toss and turn, worrying about tomorrow, or you could choose to see this as your sacred time, a time to nourish your soul, to clear your thoughts, to find peace in a way that's almost impossible during the chaos of the day. And here's the beautiful part. Using this time well doesn't just make you calmer, it sets the entire tone for your day. The way you start the morning shapes everything that follows. If you begin your day with stress, you carry that tension like a weight on your shoulders. But if you begin with clarity, gratitude, and strength, suddenly the challenges that used to overwhelm you feel smaller, more manageable. You become grounded, steady, focused. This is why philosophers, spiritual leaders, and even high performers across history have honored the early hours. From Marcus Aurelius writing his reflections at dawn, to monks rising before sunrise to meditate, to modern leaders who claim their best ideas come in the quiet of the morning, it all points to the same truth. These hours are precious. They are transformative. But here's the challenge. Most people don't know how to use this time. They wake up, feel restless, and either scroll on their phone or try to force themselves back to sleep. That's why today I want to share something different with you. Instead of wasting this gift, you can turn it into a powerful ritual, a time not for worry but for renewal. In this video, we'll explore 5 simple but life-changing actions you can take if you find yourself awake between 3 and 5 a.m. These actions come from the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, but are also backed by modern practices for mental clarity, emotional resilience, and physical well-being. Each one is designed to help you regain peace when your mind feels restless, reconnect with your deeper self, strengthen both your body and your spirit, and prepare your mind for a focused, energized day. And before we begin, I want to set a small challenge for you. It's simple but powerful. Commit to staying with me until the end of this video. Don't skip, don't drift away. Because one of these 5 actions may be the key you've been waiting for, the one that transforms sleepless nights into moments of clarity and strength. If you're ready, drop a quick "I accept the challenge" in the comments below. That way, I'll know you're not just listening, you're stepping into this journey with me. So, the next time you wake up in the middle of the night, don't see it as a problem. See it as an invitation, a doorway to peace, strength, and renewal. And together, let's step through that doorway right now. Part 1. Affirmations. Let's begin with the first practice, affirmations at dawn. Now I know the word affirmations gets thrown around a lot. Some people roll their eyes, thinking it's just cheesy self-help talk. But when practiced with intention, affirmations are one of the most powerful tools we have for shaping the way we see ourselves and the way we respond to life's challenges. The early hours of the morning between 3 and 5 a.m. create the perfect environment for this. The world is still asleep. The air feels calm, almost sacred, and in that silence our words carry more weight. Imagine this. When you declare something about yourself during this quiet time, it's not just a sentence. It's like planting a seed deep within your soul. That seed, repeated day after day, grows into unshakable strength. So, what exactly is an affirmation? It's not wishful thinking. It's a conscious statement of who you are and who you are becoming. For example, instead of saying, "I hope I can handle what's ahead," you say, "I am capable of overcoming every challenge that comes my way." Notice the difference. One is uncertainty, the other is ownership. You're telling your mind and your spirit, "This is who I am." Let me give you a real example. Emma, a young professional working in a high-pressure corporate environment, was constantly facing impossible deadlines and competitive colleagues. Most mornings, her team would wake up already dreading what awaited them, but Emma had a ritual. Every dawn, she would sit in silence and read her affirmations out loud. "I am a steadfast wall against the storms of life. Every challenge is an opportunity to rise higher. I believe in my strength and I will turn today into a victory." At first, it felt simple, but then came the real test. One day, she was handed a project filled with problems no one wanted to touch. Her team was anxious, worried it would ruin their reputation. Emma, however, remembered her words. Instead of crumbling, she approached the challenge with courage. She broke the problem into steps, guided her team with clarity, and little by little, turned the project into a success. Not only did she earn respect, but she became a source of calm and inspiration for everyone around her. Her secret wasn't luck, it was preparation. Every morning, through her affirmations, she had been training her mind to believe in her strength. So when the storm arrived, she didn't panic, she was ready. This is exactly what Stoic philosophy teaches us. Strength doesn't come from avoiding hardship. It comes from facing it head-on, from seeing every obstacle as a lesson, a stepping stone to growth. Affirmations aren't just feel-good words, they are reminders of this truth. When you speak them in the stillness of dawn, you're not only calming your mind, you're forging resilience, courage, and clarity that will carry you through the day. Now, let me ask you this. What story are you telling yourself every morning? Are you saying, "I'm tired, I can't handle this, life is too much"? Or are you saying, "I am strong, I am capable, I am ready"? Because whether you realize it or not, your words become your reality. Here's a simple way to start. When you wake up tomorrow between 3 and 5 a.m., take just 3 minutes. Put your hand on your heart, breathe deeply, and say 3 affirmations out loud. They don't need to be complicated. Something like, "I am stronger than any obstacle in my path. I choose courage over fear today. I am creating a future filled with meaning and growth." Say them slowly, feel the weight of each word. Repeat them until they no longer feel like wishes but like truths you carry inside you. Over time, this practice changes you. Challenges no longer feel like threats. They become opportunities. Fear no longer paralyzes you. It sharpens you, and the best part, this doesn't just impact you, it impacts everyone around you. Your calm becomes their calm. Your courage inspires their courage. That's the power of affirmations at dawn. They're not magic spells. They are reminders. Reminders that within you lies a reservoir of strength and resilience, waiting to be called forth. And when you choose to speak those truths in the silence of the early morning, you align yourself with the universe, with the wisdom of the Stoics, and with the best version of yourself. So tomorrow morning, when you wake in the quiet hours, don't rush back to sleep. Don't grab your phone. Instead, declare who you are. Declare what you believe, and step into your day with the unshakable strength of someone who has already chosen victory. Part 2, Remembering Dreams. Now let's move to the second practice, remembering your dreams. When you wake up between 3 and 5 a.m., it's easy to think it's just a random interruption. But what if that moment is actually an invitation? An invitation to listen more deeply, to tune into the wisdom that often gets buried beneath the noise of our daily lives. Our dreams, as strange and fragmented as they may seem, are not meaningless. They are messages, symbols. They're like letters written by your inner self, guiding you toward growth and discovery. Too often we shrug them off, saying, "It was just a dream." But if you pause, reflect, and try to recall those images, you may discover something profound. Think about this. When was the last time you woke from a dream that stayed with you? Maybe it wasn't clear, but it left a feeling, a sense that it mattered. That's because dreams speak in symbols. They show us our anxieties, our hopes, even our hidden strengths. And when we remember them, we get a chance to understand ourselves on a deeper level. Take James, for example. He was a man passionate about philosophy, always searching for inner peace. One night he woke at 3 a.m. with an unusual sense of calm. As he lay there half awake, he recalled his dream. He was walking along a long, winding road disappearing into the horizon. The path wasn't clear, but he kept moving forward, steady, unafraid. At first it seemed simple, but when he reflected, James realized the dream was a mirror of his own life. The uncertain road represented his journey, full of unknowns. And yet the dream reminded him of something powerful. That progress isn't about knowing every step in advance. It's about having the courage to keep moving, even when the future is unclear. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom. The Stoics believe that life is less about controlling outcomes and more about strengthening our response to uncertainty. Dreams, in this sense, are not random. They are reflections of our inner dialogue. They show us where we are wrestling with fear, where we are searching for meaning, and where we already have the courage to continue. So, what can you do the next time you wake in these quiet hours? Don't rush to check your phone. Don't jump immediately into worry about the day ahead. Instead, pause, breathe, ask yourself, what was I dreaming about just now? Even if it feels faint, write it down. Keep a journal by your bed, because the act of remembering, even fragments, can reveal patterns over time. And here's something fascinating. Modern psychology agrees. Research shows that dreams often integrate our emotions, our memories, and our unresolved conflicts. They're the brain's way of processing life, which means that remembering them is like peeking into a private conversation your mind is having with itself. By listening, you gain insights no one else can give you. Let me ask you a question. Are there areas of your life where you feel uncertain? Maybe your career, your relationships, or your sense of purpose. What if your dreams are already offering you hints, symbols that reflect what you truly desire or what fears are holding you back? When you wake up in the early hours, treat your dreams as guides. Instead of ignoring them, reflect. What might this dream be trying to tell me? What lesson is hidden here? Even a dream that feels confusing can carry meaning if you look closely. Remember, the Stoics didn't see obstacles as enemies, they saw them as teachers. In the same way, dreams can become teachers, pointing us toward growth, resilience, and clarity. The next time you wake between 3 and 5 a.m., take it as a gift. Recall your dream, no matter how small or strange. Write it down, reflect on it. Let it inspire you, because often, our deepest wisdom doesn't come from books or lectures or advice from others. It comes from within, whispered in the language of dreams. And here's the key lesson. Even if your path ahead feels unclear, like James walking that endless road, keep moving forward. Because every step has meaning. Every step brings you closer to who you're meant to become. Part 3, Meditation. Sometimes you wake up in those early hours and try to remember your dreams, but nothing comes. The images slip away like mist, leaving only silence. And that's okay, because when your mind feels empty at 3 or 4 a.m., you're being offered another powerful gift, the chance to meditate. Meditation isn't about forcing your mind to be blank or reaching some mystical state. It's about creating space. It's about learning to sit with yourself in stillness and discovering that peace was already there, waiting. In fact, the silence between 3 and 5 a.m. is one of the best times to meditate. The world is quiet, distractions are gone. It's just you, your breath, and the universe. Picture this. You sit upright, maybe on the edge of your bed or on the floor. You close your eyes. You take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. At first, your mind races, thinking about work, family, unfinished tasks. But as you keep breathing, something shifts. The noise begins to settle. You start noticing the rhythm of your inhale and exhale, the way the air feels as it enters and leaves your body. That simple awareness becomes an anchor, pulling you back into the present moment. Why is this so powerful? Because most of the suffering we experience comes not from reality itself, but from the stories we attach to it, the worries, the what-ifs, the constant chatter. Meditation reminds us that beneath all that noise, there's a deeper calm, a part of us that remains steady, no matter what storms come. The Stoics believed in this principle too. They taught that peace doesn't come from avoiding challenges, but from accepting them with patience and resilience. Meditation is one of the best ways to practice this. Each time your mind wanders, you gently bring it back. That simple act of returning builds perseverance. You're training yourself to face distraction, temptation, even hardship with calm and clarity. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine, a father of two with a demanding job, used to wake up stressed almost every day. He'd open his eyes at 4 a.m., mind racing about deadlines, bills, and responsibilities. At first, he hated it. But then, instead of fighting it, he started using those moments for meditation. Just 10 minutes of focused breathing. He told me it changed everything. Not only did his mornings feel lighter, but his days felt less overwhelming. The problems didn't disappear, but his ability to face them grew. And that's the point. Meditation isn't about escaping reality. It's about strengthening your ability to handle it. It's a rehearsal for life itself. Every time you sit in silence and return to your breath, you're building the muscle of patience. You're teaching your mind that it doesn't have to react to every thought or every fear. So the next time you wake up between 3 and 5 a.m. and find your mind blank, don't fight it. Sit up, close your eyes, breathe deeply. Focus not on forcing calm, but on noticing what's already there. Maybe it's the quiet hum of the night. Maybe it's the sound of your own heartbeat. These are reminders that even in stillness, life is flowing through you. And here's something beautiful. Meditation in these early hours doesn't just calm you in the moment. It prepares you for the entire day ahead. It clears the fog, sharpens your focus, and grounds you so that when challenges appear, you don't feel shaken. Instead, you respond with steadiness. The Stoics would call this living in harmony with yourself, with nature, with the flow of life. In today's terms, it's resilience. And the more you practice it, the stronger it grows. So I want to leave you with a simple challenge. Tomorrow morning, if you wake and can't remember your dreams, give yourself 5 minutes. Just 5. Sit, breathe, and notice. Don't judge your thoughts. Don't try to control them. Simply return again and again to your breath. And when the sun finally rises, notice how different you feel. Notice the strength, the clarity, the quiet courage that meditation gives you. This is more than a habit. It's a way of preparing your mind and soul for a meaningful day, a way of connecting to something bigger than yourself. And like the Stoics taught, it's in silence and patience that we find our deepest power. Part 4, Practicing Gratitude. Now let's turn to the fourth practice, gratitude. If there's one habit that can instantly shift your perspective, it's this. And the early morning hours between 3 and 5 a.m. are the perfect time to cultivate it. Why? Because in the stillness before dawn, when distractions haven't yet entered your mind, gratitude feels pure. It's not rushed, it's not forced, it's real. Think about how you usually wake up. Often, the first thoughts are about stress. I didn't get enough sleep, I have too much to do today, life feels overwhelming. But what if instead of starting with worry, you started with thankfulness, even something as simple as, I'm grateful to be alive, I'm grateful for this breath. I'm grateful for another day full of possibilities. That shift can transform your entire day. Gratitude isn't just a positive mindset, it's resilience in action. It's the ability to recognize that even when life is challenging, there are still blessings worth noticing. And when you acknowledge those blessings, big or small, you create a foundation of strength. Instead of feeling drained, you feel equipped. Instead of being trapped by negativity, you rise above it. Imagine this moment. It's 4 a.m. The house is silent and you open your eyes. You feel the warmth of the blanket around you. You hear the steady breathing of someone you love beside you. The world outside is dark, but inside there's safety. There's peace. Right there in that quiet moment, you have a choice. You can focus on the stress waiting for you when the sun comes up, or you can pause and let gratitude fill your heart. One man I spoke with shared how this simple practice changed his life. He used to wake up every morning in panic, feeling like he was already behind before the day even began. Then he started keeping a gratitude list. Each morning before reaching for his phone, he wrote down 3 things he was thankful for. At first, it was small: the warmth of my bed, the smell of coffee, the sound of birds outside. Over time, it grew into deeper reflections: the patience of my wife, the lessons I've learned through failure, the strength I've gained from past hardships. He told me it was like retraining his brain. Instead of starting with scarcity, he began his day with abundance. Instead of fear, he began with strength. And that strength carried him through the hardest challenges because he had already reminded himself of what truly mattered. This practice is deeply connected to Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believe that happiness doesn't come from getting everything we want. It comes from appreciating what we already have. They taught that gratitude turns obstacles into opportunities, because when we are thankful, even challenges become teachers. A setback isn't just pain, it's a chance to grow stronger. A failure isn't just loss, it's a lesson to carry forward. Gratitude reframes life so that everything, both joy and difficulty, becomes part of the journey toward meaning. And here's the best part: gratitude doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need to wait for something extraordinary to happen. Every morning, you already have more than enough reasons to be thankful: the roof over your head, the air in your lungs, the people who care for you, even the struggles you face. They are shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. So let me ask you, what are you grateful for right now? Is it your health, your family, the chance to try again today? Take a moment to name it out loud or write it down. Because when you do, you're not just acknowledging a blessing, you're planting a seed of positivity that will grow throughout your day. Tomorrow morning, when you wake between 3 and 5 a.m., try this. Before you move, before you scroll, before you think about your to-do list, pause. Take 3 slow breaths and name 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big. Even something simple like the comfort of your bed or the silence of the early morning can be enough. Let that gratitude wash over you. Notice how it softens your heart, steadies your mind, and fills you with quiet strength. Because gratitude is not just about feeling good. It's about building a life that is meaningful, resilient, and full of perspective. It's about remembering, as the Stoics taught, that every moment, whether joyful or difficult, is a gift. And when you choose gratitude, you choose peace. So tomorrow, when the universe wakes you in the stillness of dawn, don't waste the moment. Embrace it. And let gratitude be the light that guides you into your day. Part 5. Journaling. Finally, we arrive at the 5th practice: journaling. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Journaling, isn't that just writing in a diary? But this isn't about teenage secrets or recording the weather. This is about creating a space where you can reflect, release, and reset your mind. And the early hours between 3 and 5 a.m., when the world is still asleep, provide the perfect canvas. Here's why. During the day, your mind is cluttered. Thoughts compete for attention. You're pulled in a dozen directions. But at dawn, everything is quiet. It's just you and your thoughts. Writing them down transforms that silence into something powerful: a conversation with yourself. When you journal, you're not writing for anyone else. You don't need perfect grammar or polished sentences. You're simply allowing your inner world to spill onto the page. And that act alone can bring enormous clarity. Suddenly, the vague unease you've been carrying turns into words. The worries that felt overwhelming start to look smaller when written down. The goals that seemed distant start to feel more possible because you've named them. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine struggled with constant anxiety. He couldn't quite explain it, just a heavy fog that followed him each morning. One day, he decided to try journaling at 4 a.m. At first, he only wrote one sentence: "I feel restless." But as he kept going, he realized his anxiety was rooted in unfinished work projects and a strained friendship he'd been avoiding. By writing it down, he not only identified the source of his tension but also came up with small steps to address it. He told me, "It felt like I had emptied my head onto the page, and in doing so, I gave myself room to breathe." That's the beauty of journaling. It's both release and renewal. It's like cleaning a cluttered room in your mind. And once the clutter is gone, there's space for creativity, solutions, and peace. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, journaled constantly. His private writings, which we now call meditations, were never meant for the world. They were reminders to himself, reflections, corrections, and encouragements. His journaling wasn't about perfection. It was about self-awareness. And that self-awareness gave him the resilience to lead an empire with wisdom and calm. You and I may not be emperors, but the principle is the same. By journaling in the early morning, you practice self-leadership. You take ownership of your thoughts instead of letting them control you. You create a dialogue between your fears and your strengths, your doubts and your hopes. So how can you start? Keep a notebook beside your bed. When you wake up in those quiet hours, grab a pen and simply begin. Write down whatever comes to mind. Maybe it's a lingering worry. Maybe it's gratitude for something small. Maybe it's a goal for the day. Don't censor yourself, just let it flow. Over time, you'll notice patterns. You'll uncover desires you didn't know you had, fears you didn't realize were shaping your choices, and strengths that have been waiting for you to acknowledge. And here's a bonus. Journaling doesn't just help in the moment. When you look back weeks or months later, you see your own growth. You realize that problems that once felt unbearable are now behind you. You see how you've evolved, stronger, wiser, freer. It's like watching your own transformation unfold on paper. Let me ask you, how often do you give yourself the chance to listen to your own voice? Not the voices of social media, not the opinions of others, but your own. Journaling is that chance. It's your space to be brutally honest, deeply reflective, and courageously hopeful. So tomorrow morning, if you wake at 3 or 4 a.m., don't waste that silence. Pick up a pen. Write down what's in your heart. Even if it's messy, even if it's only a few words, let it out. Because those words are more than ink on paper. They are stepping stones toward resilience, clarity, and freedom. Remember, the Stoics taught that a meaningful life is one where we know ourselves, guide ourselves, and grow ourselves. Journaling is a simple but powerful way to do exactly that. So don't think of it as just writing. Think of it as a mirror, a tool, a practice that shapes who you are becoming. And when you embrace it in the stillness of dawn, you give yourself the gift of clarity and the strength to step into the day as the best version of yourself. Conclusion. So what have we discovered together? That waking up between 3 and 5 a.m. isn't a burden and it isn't a mistake. It's an invitation, a doorway into transformation that most people overlook. What we often see as restlessness or insomnia, the Stoics would see as opportunity. We've explored 5 powerful practices you can use in those quiet hours. First, affirmations, speaking words of strength to shape your mindset and prepare you for the challenges ahead. Second, dream reflection, listening to the hidden messages your inner self is trying to tell you, using your dreams as guides. Third, meditation, finding stillness in the silence, connecting with your breath and building patience and clarity. Fourth, gratitude, shifting your focus from what's missing to what's already here, creating resilience and positivity. And finally, journaling, having an honest conversation with yourself, releasing tension, and charting a path forward with self-awareness. Now pause and think. What would your life look like if you started practicing even one of these? Imagine starting your day with calm instead of chaos, with gratitude instead of stress, with clarity instead of confusion. That shift doesn't just change your morning, it changes your entire life. Because these practices build more than habits. They build inner strength. They build peace that lasts beyond the early hours. They build resilience that carries you through challenges, and they build a meaningful connection with life itself. The Stoics believe that happiness and freedom come not from controlling the world, but from mastering ourselves. And that's exactly what these dawn rituals give us. They remind us that we are not powerless, that even in moments of darkness, we have tools to create light. But here's something important. Transformation doesn't happen just by listening. It happens by doing. Knowledge becomes wisdom only when put into practice. So the next time you wake up between 3 and 5 a.m., I want you to remember this. You have a choice. You can see it as an annoyance, roll over, and drift back into restless sleep. Or you can rise, embrace the silence, and use it as a sacred time to grow. And you don't have to do this alone. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 practices speaks to you the most? Is it affirmations, dreams, meditation, gratitude, or journaling? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's build a community where we learn from one another, just as the Stoics learned from each other centuries ago. If this video has inspired you, do me a favor, hit the like button, share it with someone who might need this message, and subscribe so you won't miss the next part of this journey. Together, we'll keep exploring timeless wisdom and practical tools to live with more peace, more strength, and more purpose. And before we end, let me leave you with one final reminder. Every time you wake in those quiet hours, remember, it's not just a restless night. It's an invitation, an open door, a chance to unlock the infinite potential within you. So step through that door, embrace the silence, and let it guide you to inner peace and lasting strength. Because every dawn awakening is more than just a moment, it's a gift. And what you do with that gift can change your life.